Hello everyone. Today we are going to start our bell work, and with our bell work we are going to have a few little bits of drawings that we are going to learn about that is necessary in your artwork. In here I want you to write background. The reason I did a capital G is because I wanted to make it easy for some of us who have difficulty reading to read two separate words as a compound word. Plus, G hangs down below the line and will interfere with our other one. Next one is a middle ground. That will be the one we're going to mess with next. And for this one, we're going to do the foreground, which is at the very front, so we're going to put it up here. This is also a compound word, so you want to make sure that you have them put together, like I do the background. Now, in background, you're going to need to make sure that you have at least a B. This is a 5B, no, a 3B. And you want to shade in an area that you plan on using for your mountain, your sky. So you're just going to take very gentle strokes across your paper in one direction. And then you can turn it if you like, or you can just go the other way, which is whichever one might be easier for you to do. But I'm just very gently taking and making some cross-hatching marks across here. Now, we're going to rub it in. And we're going to find an eraser that will allow us to erase clouds. Now, there are some other dark areas in here. I can use those for the bottom half of my cloud and make extra areas, and then maybe have some form of formation in the clouds. And sometimes it's easier just to see laying your pencil sideways. Sometimes in our clouds we see these different variations, and I am holding my pencil like this. You can hold it up here if it's easier for you, but the reason I'm holding it down here near the end is I do not want to be able to really have a whole lot of control where the pencil goes. I want to allow it to kind of do its own thing. Okay, so I have made a cloud. I like doing mine sideways because being dyslexic makes things a little easier on me doing it sideways. And I may have another cloud that comes across here. So I'm going to rub this in. I'm going to delete some of that. I don't want to delete all of it because I still want a few little areas of my clouds to have as if it's building up with some kind of storm coming in. Okay. Now, if you want to make it look like it is actually storming in the background, you want to have this area rather dark. Now, in sheets of rain in the mountains, you might actually see this, a section of this. Maybe not everywhere. Go ahead and rub it in and then come back over again. So it's looking like it's raining. these vertical lines will cast in rain. Now if you want to make it where there's might be a streak of light flowing through, and take an eraser and very gently run it in there. You might see some little bits of white, but not much. You don't want it overbearing. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a storm going on here. Okay, that is the background. That is it. It's just the sky. Now the next thing we're going to do is the mountaintop. Now because I have rain, there's usually going to be a difficult time seeing your mountain. So you're going to just kind of rub that in and have your mountain kind of dark, a little darker than your rain. But we got a little bit of sunlight here, so we're going to work with that a little bit later. That's what's real neat about rainy days, is it makes it rather easy to make your clouds look like they're dominating the program. Okay, you can always have some dark areas. I do recommend that you use a smudging stump to get in some of those to make them look a little more solid. Now the reason I'm darkening this in is for the fact that we have the rain coming in. And you can even throw a few little dark lines in there from the smudging stump. And maybe even a few little dark clouds. It should never ever look perfect. If you're trying to make it perfect, you're not doing it right. You're not allowing it to happen. Just let it go and have some fun with it. Okay, so maybe I see a little bit of a dark crevice here in my mountain. You notice again, I'm still holding my pencil sideways. I am not drawing like I write. When you draw and you want these darker areas, you're going to lay your pencil sideways. Okay, so now I see a little bit of my mountain here, and I am going to allow that to be a part of my background. Now, sometimes near the base of your mountain, you might have some fog. So you don't want it to look completely white when you're doing things in pencil. But you do want to give it that little bit of look as if something is there, but it's not there. And then you can give a little bit of a motion here as if the fog is not as prevalent here. And you have a few little discrepancies in your land. Let's say you have a cliff here, and you want that cliff to be extremely dark. Okay, I do not want this to have a whole bunch of light because this is my lighter side of my mountain. Now, how am I going to distinguish that? I'm just going to take a pencil and do a very light line across the top of my mountain so I can distinguish the difference. Now, if you've ever seen the fog, you might see them in somewhat strange positions. Okay, that is our background. That is if you want a rainy day. Okay, now this one I'm going to do a different type of background and a middle ground, or a mountain, and then we'll work on the middle ground, which is in between here. Okay, so I may change the position of my clouds in the way I want them, so that it might give you an idea as to what you want to do for your type of clouds or your sky. And I would just take and smear in pencil. And again, I'm going to cross hatch it so I can get a little bit more color into the sky. And I'm just going to rub it in. Now, if you're seeing lines, then you put too heavy of a mark into your sky, and you shouldn't. Okay, you want to make sure that you don't have heavy lines in there. If you have heavy lines, then that's going to make it look bad. You notice I'm also turning my paper every different direction. If you keep your paper just like this to draw, then it's not going to allow you the freedom to make the different types of lines. Okay, so now I'm going to make a couple of mountains here, so that I can keep my mountain ideas in one thought. Okay. Now, I'm just going to do some erasing wherever I want, so that I can make sure that the clouds hang out and they're visible. Now, I'm going to use the smudging stump to give it a little bit more of a flavor. Now, I have not rubbed my smudging stump into anything. I'm using past colors from my smudging stump to help me get where I need to get. Okay, so I'm kind of building up as if it's gonna have we might have a storm. And that's what's real neat about erasing these, is you can actually get really cool definitions of clouds in any way you want. Okay, so now we're going to work on the mountains. Hello?
We're on our way.
Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Bye.
Got to the highway.
Alright. Bye. Okay, here's a magazine of some black and white images. Now, if you notice, the clouds are white, but your sky is actually gray. That is in a photograph. A mountain will be in several different shades. Like this one could be lighter than this one. This one will have a little bit darker, But look at this. This is really, really dark. And there's areas in here that can be extremely dark. Same with the background of buildings. Let's see if we can find some other. It's a perfect one. This has mountains, but the mountains have snow on them. And then as you move closer to the middle ground, it gets a little bit darker because those may be at a higher elevation and receiving snow. Okay, you have to think in terms of black and white when you are actually drawing in pencil. It is very vital to your thought process. Again, there are clouds that go in really strange dimensions. This is a complete cloud. It fits in with this one. This, who knows, that one right there may be part of a cloud or part of the sky that's peeking through. We do not know. And here we have a very dark mountain and maybe some light ones and a little bit of dark back here. You need to be aware of all of your colors. Remember, the sky is gray in black and white images. Now here's one that has some cliff type rocks. This is actually a castle. And the mountains in it have dark and light gray. But look here, there's a really dark hue here. Don't know what's causing that. And the clouds look dark. So I don't know if there's this whole set is all just dark clouds. We don't know. Okay? There is no wrong answer to any of them. Okay, here's another one where you're seeing the mountain in the middle ground that is closer to you, darker, and this is kind of a hazy look, and this may be in the middle between the two. This may be further away. The further away it is, the more hazy it's going to look, and it won't look completely perfect. Okay? We will be referencing out of this book